I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. We still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dollars rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grind together, we all came from hunger pain.
Lay Ill Kid at One Youngster, holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today all year, coming with another wonderful episode of That's Right, On Screen. We talk about that live action, and today we've got Rings of Power. You know what I'm saying? Amazon was like, hey, look, Lord of the Rings out there, I heard it's for sale. You know, I heard it's a bargain. Let me go and make a purchase real quick. And lo and behold, the price was right, apparently. They bought it. They produced a little show. Now, we ain't by ourselves. I want to give a shout out to Vera Morris in the chat, anyone else getting their lurk on, and someone who might be here on the replay. Metaphysical people might be watching or sharing or whatever. Thank you for hitting that like button, subscribe, all that, but we ain't by ourselves. No. Right over here, we got a legend, all right, in the cinematic sorcery space. I present to you Solar Grey. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Solar Grey, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and yes, I'm wearing a t-shirt today because it is hot and I'm tired. So, oh my God. And I wouldn't quite say I'm a legend. I just say I might be a rebel from my own mind.
Oh, okay.
But a legend itself, I don't know. As you guys can see, I'm seriously sitting up here just like, oh my God. I'm paying for my sins right now.
That heat wave is getting, you know what I'm saying? That heat wave is coming through.
That heat wave is hot.
That heat wave is a little heat wavy. All right?
Yeah, I mean, all I got right now is Sam Jackson from Do the Right Thing in my head. Literally just like, and now it's time for the weather report. It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
That's
it.
It.
It's hot.
That's all.
You know what I'm saying? It's hot here in Southern California.
Yes, yes, it is.
But you know what else is hot? Fire.
Comments. A lot of hot comments out there.
Oh man, are we gonna cover those or are we gonna skip those? I guess okay, all right. Slight controversy. You probably already know if you watched the show. If you haven't, luckily you might not even be on Twitter or Facebook or something like that. You might just watch shows and be happy on your own. All right, so when this trailer first dropped, there were people that weren't all like 100% white, so, there were people that, of course, were mad about that, and comments were not happy on Twitter, and, that's,
blah.
That's what we come with. And the funny thing is, after watching the first 2 episodes, it's like, bro, you all right. There ain't nothing but 0.5%. Or it ain't even at like 0.2%. Oh no, 0.03% of black people in there. All right, you still got 100 white folks. You got like 3 black people, bro. You gonna be all right. And 3 black people that have minimal lines. They got a little storyline, but it's on the side. You know what I'm saying? It's on the side. You gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? A little side appetizer of black. Isn't that like the trailer did throw us because the trailer was like, oh snap, it's gonna be black. No, it's not.
No.
But that's a whole nother thing. We already talked about meaningful representation. We'll see where this show goes. But as of right now, it looks like another Star Wars bait and switch for you. I'm just saying, prep yourselves because Hollywood is Hollywood. I'm just saying, don't get hyped. You be like, oh snap, they fighting and stuff. Just pump your brakes. Remember when we saw the lightsaber? Remember how we all went crazy? Pump your brakes. Pump them. Pump your brakes. Just in case.
You are cynical, man.
I'm
cynical.
I've been down this road too many times before. And when I say meaningful representation, you look at Star Trek Discovery, you see meaningful representation. You actually see, hashtag Black Love right there, happy, mind their business. Ain't nobody doing nothing wrong. They love it, living and loving.
That's fair.
Over here, Black Love is a little late to the party, but we do get our garden variety. You know what? I'm not gonna go there. Well, I'm not, because you know what? This show in general is good. Look, all right. In general, we're gonna talk about the show. We're gonna get into these characters, say what we like, what we don't like. We're gonna barbershop it up. You know what I'm saying? And if this is your first time, we're gonna barbershop it up. We don't follow the actual narrative of the story. We just talk about it in general. So I'm gonna throw it to Solar Grey. All right. You finished the first 2 episodes. How you feel?
I have. All right. So that first episode, I walked into, I'm like, all right, let's see what the hype is about. I got nothing new to watch. It's not like Evil's coming back in the next couple of weeks or anything. So let me check out, what am I looking at? What do I got? And the first episode, I gotta say, I wasn't exactly feeling it, but I wasn't exactly against it.
Okay.
Because what I got was I'm looking at this show, and it felt like a network TV pilot. Okay. They had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of exposition. And I'm like, no, just show me the world. Throw me into the world and
Yeah.
I'll catch up. All right, I'll catch up. If you're doing your job right, I'll catch up. It's cool. Um, and my girl was funny because I said that out loud when I was first watching it. And she was like, yeah, it's probably for the people that don't know the lore. Like, can you hear me in the back kind of thing? And I'm like, you know what? I can see that. Um, and it was okay. It was okay as far as setup. It
Mm-hmm.
was. I was sitting up going, I've seen worse, but I've also seen better. But
Okay.
I've also seen worse. Actually, I've seen a lot worse.
A lot worse.
So, all right. So, but then I watched the second episode. And the second episode, I was like, it looks like they're finding their legs. Okay. All right, let's see what I got on this finding their legs thing. And I was not as disappointed as I was afraid I might be.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. It was now I'm gonna put this out there. All right.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I am what I call a ringer. All right. I am a fan of Lord of the Rings. All right. And I mean, real talk, I'm one of those dudes. Like I've read the Silmarillion. I've read the books over and I read the books like once every 5 or 6 years. I've read the Silmarillion. I've read the Lost Tales. I've read some of the letters. I've learned the alphabet. I'm that guy,
Okay.
which is why I think you call me to tell you the
Yeah,
truth.
because see,
Like,
I've only watched the movies. I've never read the books. That's why I always try to bring in people that know the book side because honestly, I'm not interested in the book side. And I've told you, if you're new to this show, the reason I'm not interested in the book side is when I was coming up, fantasy pretended like black people didn't exist. And to a certain degree, kind of still does. But
yeah.
I was always disassociated from that. And now that we're in a time where we're starting to get a little trickle of representation, you know what I'm saying? When I say trickle, people be like, well, what about Lovecraft Country? Stop acting like that thing has 10 seasons. All right, stop it. So like
Yeah.
the thing is, like now I have options to not watch this mess. Like everybody else can enjoy it and I can chill and watch the stuff I want to watch. I'm not stuck watching that one sci-fi show that is just on TV. I'm not stuck in that lane no more. So now I've seen all the Lord of the Rings movies and the Hobbit films. And shouts to Vera Moore said, I already think the first 2 episodes are still better than all 3 Hobbit movies.
Facts.
So I'll say this. In watching these first 2 episodes, you learned. Y'all cut out all that walking. Yeah, cut it out. Chop, 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 cut it out. Get it out of here. Get that walking out of here. Let's get to the point. I do like that. The first episode,
You hurt me, bro. You hurt me.
No, man. Let's
I know. By modern standards, it's weird, but you gotta understand. In the original tridge, all right, in the first trilogy, the way that it came out, all that walking was based on the fact that they found the ring in Colorado and had to take it to Florida. All right,
and I get it.
How else
but
they
it was
gonna get
really
there?
an excuse for
Not like they can get to Monte Carlo and just drive down there, you know?
It was really an excuse for Pete to show like these beautiful landscapes, which are great. But then when they trick you into getting the extended edition, thinking you're gonna get like something, you're like, oh, it's extended walking. All right.
The walking is where the adventure happens and the development stuff. You're killing me.
Yeah. So
just killing me.
In the first episode, I was like, Amazon spending some money. I like that. You're showing you care. But it was like, I was like, I don't know. I don't hate it, but I don't think I'm sold yet. Then after watching the second episode, I'm like, the first episode is hanging its head on the wrong character. Now I know why. You got a pretty white girl, blonde hair. I get it. But you're hanging this on the wrong character. The brother that tips off a mystery is it's kind of like when you go from Avengers Disassembled into the new Avengers.
Mhm.
There's this mystery of like, hold up, okay, so who broke these prisoners out? Okay, well, hold up, who paid them? Oh, whoa. So Shield's dirty too? Hold up. So Mr. Fantastic isn't Mr. Fantastic? Like, New Avengers jumps off Civil War, jumps off Secret Avengers. I mean, Secret Avengers, Secret Invasion,
Empire.
Dark Avengers. Yeah. It jumps off. Shouts to Brian Michael Bendis. I know people had it, but the kernels in the first like volume of the New Avengers back in 2004. That's what I'm not interested in. Your like basic revenge story that we've seen every character kind of like go through in stories like, oh, my brother died, so now I'm going to put everybody else in danger of doing this. And then, like, when she went to get on the boat, I'm like, why she ain't just say I don't want to get on the boat, because she's going to get off the boat. And when she got off the boat, I'm like, yeah, Galadriel is not staying on the boat. We all know this. Now, I think it's because that type of character has been done so much, we can all call the moments that they're going to do. Well, like, even to the disrespect of like
to the media, yes, but you have to ask the question: is
how
this
many people
for
have seen this
super media or super media savvy people, or is this for people that are just coming up? You know, that's the question.
Yeah. Well, they're trying. I think they're trying to make a show for everybody, and when you try to make a show for everybody, everybody's going to comment, and then everybody that's seen this a billion times is going to say, okay, if this is supposed to be a military outfit or unit, you need to be thanking your lucky stars that they're about to put a crown on your head, because anyone else would have been court-martialed, stripped of their rank the second they got back. I got tons of military. My family got tons of military friends. You would have been stripped the second you got back, and then had the nerve to be like, so you let me speak to the king or not? I'm like, who got power in here? Is it you? I guess just because the plot said it's you, but in real life, you lucky they putting a crown on your head, because in real life they would do that ceremony without you like nothing even happened. Wouldn't nobody even say your name? They'd be like, this person. You wouldn't even be there. Galadriel would be somewhere locked up right now, and they just do the event and go on about their business. So,
what I actually kind of like,
but we've seen it before, so I guess that's a Hollywood knock and not really a show knock.
Partly a Hollywood thing, and in line with the lore that they have the rights to, because a lot of people don't know. And those book readers, again, the people that, everything and all that stuff, Galadriel ain't well liked. Like, by the time we meet her in Fellowship of the Rings, how can I put it? She's very Targaryen in the sense of, man, you lucky you so powerful, because I wouldn't be dealing with you otherwise. Seriously speaking. And we're really watching her be that character that nobody likes. And because it takes okay, so this show number one takes place 6,000 years before The Hobbit. All right, 6,000 years, meaning Galadriel and Elrond are both still young.
Still young and fresh.
Yeah, they're they're still young and stupid, essentially, is what it is.
Well, Elrond, he don't really bother me like that. Elrond, I'm like, you know what? I can roll with you. Cool.
Elrond doesn't become a pretentious jerk until the war, the Last Alliance of Elves and Men. That was his big thing. When Isildur didn't drop the ring into the pit, he got all mad, and he stayed mad. And then, his daughter,
as he probably should have,
dating the wrong dude. And, it's kind of a thing. So, Elrond is one of my favorite elves, because I hate elves as a species. So I'm like, he's the one that's relatively all right. But yeah, he's still very young, very, kind of cool to hang out with, as we saw in episode 2. So
not too bad.
Yeah, I'm actually digging that. And so that first episode, I was like, feels like a TV pilot. They're trying to get people in. Yeah, I don't know.
And I still think they're
the
trying to
second
get
episode's
people in
up.
on the wrong character, but I mean, I get why. I mean, I
Mhm.
understand, I understand.
Well, I don't know
I
if it's
get
the
it.
wrong character. What I'm trying to figure out is what story they're telling.
Yeah, because I really don't care. We don't care because we don't know her brother. And
Mhm.
we don't really care about her because there's nothing particularly likable about her. Now, I know people are going to come in and be like, oh, well, you said a woman isn't likable, so you're immediately sexist. No, if this was a male character, same thing. He'd be whack. And I'd be like, we need to be following someone else.
Oh,
The person's just whack. But,
oh,
I
can I
know
take a
we're going to
second
need this
to,
person, I assume, because they're important in the future.
yeah, could I take a second to answer something in the comments real quick?
Go ahead.
The reason that he had an issue with Arwen being with a human was because he is part human, but once he made the choice to be full elf, he turned away from his human side. His brother went on to be regular human, so there was that. The second part was humans don't get to go to the Grey Havens, and essentially by the end of the third age, it ended with the elves going to heaven, and whoever didn't go stayed here until they essentially turned into what the ring wraiths were. Not evil, but specters that couldn't interact with anything. So her staying here and choosing a mortal life doesn't mean that she died. It just means that she would fade away, and that is essentially a living hell. So think about that idea from the perspective of a parent to a child. You know, that was why that was what his big thing about her being with Aragorn was. If she had fallen in love with an elf, they could just go off to the Grey Havens together and everything be cool. Yeah.
Woohoo.
But it's like you're not just falling for a human, which I could probably pull some strings and get him in, but you're choosing the one human that's gotta stay. Like of all the people, you're choosing the one that can't come with us because he's supposed to usher in the new age. So yeah. So Vera, thank you for your question, and I'm glad that I could answer it. So
And who is that again? What character?
that's Aragorn, Arwen, and Elrond. Because
Oh, okay.
Elrond was not about Arwen being with Aragorn because of that reason. And it's like, dude, that's my daughter. And if she stays with you, she just gonna turn into a ghost and essentially be depressed for the rest of time.
I mean, yeah,
And she was
it
like, yeah, but
happens.
that's my choice, daddy. He's like, yeah, and you too young to understand the weight of the choice you making.
Yeah,
But
it's like you think it's your choice now, until you about 300-400 years into your ghostness, and you're gonna be like,
like,
you know what?
yeah, I chose
It
poorly.
ain't all it's cracked up to be.
The only upside for her is that as a specter, she'll be able to see her entire bloodline as it happens, but she'll be watching her children and grandchildren and great great grandchildren and great 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 grandchildren who ended up moving to Texas. Like she could watch over all of them, but not interact with them or touch them or talk to them or anything. So it's like, yeah, no, that's a thing, you know.
Hmm. So
So,
I do I want to talk about the effects real quick.
mhm.
The effects look solid.
Yeah.
I also this is something Hollywood does a lot, is show us a battle that, like, you know what, we really love to see this battle.
Well,
It's a nice little 10-second flashback.
like, thanks for the highlights. And they're like, if we were to show you this battle, do you know how much Amazon Prime would cost you a month?
It's like, stop acting like Amazon Prime isn't ripping us off already. Like, just go in and show us the stuff. But
Now, again, they would have to rip us off more. So that's the thing. Because
but
what do you expect Bezos to do? Pay his employees and not build spaceships? Come on, bro.
true that.
He got
But
that space cowboy to get on.
so I did like the effects. I even like the costuming. Everything looks pretty solid, like worn in and stuff like that. So I'm digging that. Of course, these, amazing, backdrops and sets, or, I guess fake sets as well. Everything comes through. I'm cool with that. But, sometimes I need to see a little more adversity. And that's one of the problems when you have people like elves.
Wait, a little more adversity?
Yeah. And
Okay.
here's what I mean.
I'm
All
listening.
right, so you leave the ship, you jump in the water, right? And you're just like, let me go and take a little swim to the... It's like, no, you're in the ocean. We will never see... We rarely see her get tired. Rarely see her...
Okay. See, again, this is a lore thing, bro. This is one of the reasons that as a fantasy trope, I hate elves. The big thing about elves, all right? The big thing is one, they're teenagers until they're about 150 years old. So they spend a century and a half getting good at stuff because they are immortal mostly. The only way an elf can die is if it's killed by another living creature. So it can't drown, it can't freeze. They don't get tired. They don't even sleep, bruh. They barely eat. So she's in the water and it's like, well, guess I got to get to swimming.
Yeah, but then
the only time
also
she fled,
we're also to assume like you took, I don't know, ocean swimming 101. I guess, even if all right, we can't drown. Like homegirl is I guess the Michael Phelps of the elves and stuff. I was like,
all elves are like that.
Then I was like, oh, hold up. Isn't that the ocean that had that big old dragon snake Loch Ness monster thing in it? It's like, oh, I'm hungry for everybody but elf blood. I was just like, of course. And it comes back to that thing where you have kids in movies. We know she's not in danger. Don't put her in it. Like, or put her in a different danger that matters because, come on, man. You open the show with her. She's apparently the star. Like, put her in a different danger where I'm like, oh, snap. She could, she might be in trouble. But in this, I'm like, she's not in danger. And then, at least from me, I feel like, why am I watching this if I know there's no stakes?
See,
as opposed to the soldier that's down in this little cavern crawling like this, I'm like, oh, hold up, bro.
Okay.
We in danger because you have no mobility. If something starts chasing you, you ain't. What you gonna do? Shimmy up the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And finally, we have the air duct scene that isn't like, oh, this is a Mack truck size air duct where everybody could just crawl through. No, he's like shimmying through. I like that. Where he was
the rats were like, excuse me, bro. Excuse me. Yo, just let me by.
We gotta get up out of here.
No, I gotta go. Well, see, that's again, and that is that appealing to everybody thing. All right. It's why am I watching this? It's like, no. You're looking at it through the old TV formula. Who we open with might not be the main character. Nowadays, we focus on ensemble casts, So we got Galadriel doing her thing over here. For those people that like, oh man, Galadriel, she seemed interesting in that one scene in The Hobbit, since other than Legolas climbing up rocks and stuff. And she seemed real cool in Fellowship of the Ring. So let's find out a little bit more about her. That part's for them. Then you got I love this whole, dude, what's up with the elf and the action thing and the investigation? Let's do that. That's for you. Then we got Elrond talking with his dwarf buddy and the inside of Khazad-dûm for me. That's how this is going. Everybody gets a little something.
That's for me too. I enjoyed that too. That was one of the better parts of the show. The point is the vanilla character is just vanilla.
Yeah, but you get my point is that this is like Neapolitan ice cream, bro. You get a little vanilla, you get a little strawberry, you get a little chocolate, because I got people going, oh man, these are just knockoff hobbits. What's up with them? I don't care about them. But
knockoff hobbits,
you get their story, So you got the dollar store hobbits, you got the young Elrond talking with the dwarves.
Why they gotta be dollar store though?
Huh?
Why they gotta be dollar store? You know what I'm saying?
Because
why? Because the brothers running it? Huh? Is it because that? No,
because because they're new inventions for the show. They're not in the lore. And
Dollar
Geeky
store
Andre is
hobbits.
asking, can elves choose to give up immortality? No, but half elves can. Elves
Uh-huh.
with human blood can choose to give up immortality, like Arwen, like Elrond. Okay.
Antoine Film said, "Go buy hobbits." That's cold, man. That's
Mm-hmm.
cold. And
You
then also like the young girl on the Hobbit side. I'm
yeah.
I'm actually more interested in the older man and the two cackling hens. Yes, I said it. You
Uh-huh.
know what I'm saying? I'm more interested in them because the kid, she's not in danger immediately. She was like, when Mama was like, don't go past the farm." I was like, she's going past the farm. It's going to be dangerous, but no one's getting hurt. I knew that immediately. What happened?
Yeah.
There's a wolf up there chilling. I guess he just had a full porterhouse steak. And he was like, "I ain't hungry no more. I see these defenseless little children just eating berries. They look tasty like little nuggets, but I mean, hey, I don't want them. I'm hungry for
Yeah.
other things."
Yeah,
So,
I get where you're coming from on that, but
like,
you sound like
just
me when I'm watching standard fantasy, because who was my favorite character from Star Wars A New Hope? Obi-Wan. But the story wasn't about Obi-Wan, it was about Luke, and Luke was never in danger, you know.
but at least Obi-Wan had like a fitting and understandable story in that movie. Like that movie actually gives him some meat to chew on.
Uh,
Even if those kids came back with like one less kid, they didn't have to show it, but just be like, "Oh, snap. Yo, it's dangerous out here." That's why Mama said don't go. Cause like,
yeah.
yo, it's dangerous. Now, like, it's dangerous, nothing dangerous happened. Oh, well, then how do these kids learn? Then a giant comes down. We'll talk about him in a second. Giant comes down, and it's like, why shouldn't I mess with it? There's no stakes. Like, there's supposed to be stuff that's like, oh man, I
See,
shouldn't touch this. But
given that I know who
it's
that
Hollywood,
giant
so I can't
is,
really knock the show because it's a
yeah.
Hollywood thing.
Yeah, again, given that I know who that giant is, it's all stakes, but okay.
Well,
I'm not
yeah,
saying
see,
you're incorrect. I'm just saying I get where you're
well,
coming from,
it's no
but
stakes for her. I
yeah,
can almost guarantee you that girl is not dead, at least not this season. I can almost
no,
guarantee you that.
I'm hoping she ends up being the mouth. But that's just me. Um, see, the thing that I'm really watching the show in as the lore guy is I know where this is set. All right. This is set in the East and in the South. So we looking
Mhm.
at, if you go back to Return of the King, you're looking at the army that had the cool Arabic looking armor and the elephant riders. We're in those countries and we
Okay.
don't know nothing about those countries. So I'm like, all right, let's see what's going on. That's kind of why the people are kind of are not exactly great. That's because those people I could be like, man, you guys are not all right. If this is what y'all are like, I can see why Elrond don't like people. God. um, because like seriously, and I enjoy that they show that because most of the time in fantasy, we only get to see the best of the best, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so I'm definitely with that. But so far, like I'm just looking at this whole thing with an open mind. I'm going, all right, what am I looking at? What are they making? All right, the first episode, I'm like, God, this feels like such a TV show. But at least it looks better than 90% of the fantasy shows that came on sci-fi in the 90s.
Mm,
That's it looks better than all
way
of them.
better. And
This ain't no Hercules and Xena, you
shouts
know.
to Lady Lisa said, Nerso said these kids ain't gonna learn unless one of their friends get chewed up. Yo,
Hey,
on
you
the
know what?
real, ask ask those people that came up in like the 18 and early 1900s out on the farm. Look,
Bruh.
a fox or a wolf or a coyote was a serious thing.
All
Like,
right.
because they
So
weren't just hungry for like the chickens. Like, if there was a young child out there playing around,
yeah, no, I
look,
mean, I get what you're saying, and I'll even back up a point that you made. All right. A point that you made with the walking. All right.
Mhm.
Because we got a perfect story, although it came out in 1986. So this is me being old back here with all the gray in my beard. But a show about nothing but short people walking that was compelling and done very well was
nothing
Stand
but
By
short
Me.
people walking.
Yeah, it was Stand By
Yeah,
Me, Will Wheaton, Corey Feldman, Kiefer
yeah.
Sutherland. That was just a bunch of kids walking for a few days, going through stuff, dealing with dangers like leeches and junkyard
Hmm.
dogs and all that stuff. So I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying because the one time we get consequences, and I think that's what you're really upset about is not stakes, but a lack of consequence. Because the closest
Yeah.
consequence we got was what's her name? Nori is out there. And I only remember her name because that was one of the names of the dwarves from The Hobbit. Nori is out there going, "Hey, big giant, let me show you how to eat snails." And then her dad just breaks his leg, and it's like, you should have been there.
Oh yeah, true,
You
true.
know?
That is, he did break his leg. So yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
Ma Dukes was like, you should have been here. He was like, no, that's okay. Look, hey, fathers, all right, stop doing that to your daughters. All right, you wouldn't have done that to a son. A son, you would have told him he should have been there. All right, hashtag equality.
Ooh.
You know what
Oh
I'm
man. You know
saying?
what? Vera, you are absolutely right. I'm still calling them
Oh,
dollar store hobbits,
uh,
but shout out, shout out. You know your
Harfoots are
stuff.
one of the three breeds of hobbits, along with stores, I guess,
Hmm.
and fallow hides. I ain't even gonna pretend. Look, just letting y'all know, I'm gonna be messing everybody's name up.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. Do not.
And and wasn't Smeagol just leave in the comments, Vera? I'm pretty sure Smeagol was a fallow hide. So but
All
yeah.
I know is he definitely needed some moisturizer and I don't know, a barber of some sort. Somebody had to do something with some of this. But
Yeah.
but before he got crazy, you know what I'm saying? He was all right. He
No, he
was
wasn't.
still,
He was a jerk before he got crazy.
yeah, but I mean his looks, like he was all
Oh,
right. He could have
yeah,
been
his
in the
looks are
market.
all right, but that whole, hey, I found this thing at the bottom of the ocean. Cool, let me have it. He pretty much should have looked at Teagle going, "What you got on my 40, homie? Yo, let me see that for a minute. Let me see that."
Like,
No,
nah,
I
nah.
get back.
They're like,
You know,
nah, nah. But the the Elrond part with the prince and the princess,
Durin. Yeah.
Durin and Disa.
Yeah.
Is it Disa? Yeah.
Bro,
So
I was all in. I was
yo,
all in.
the whole thing from the brick breaking to, well, first to getting in, like, yo, what's the password? New England clam chowder. Then he was like, shut. And he was like, all right, I challenge you to a duel. They was like, all right, come on in. so,
Hmm.
so like, so it, like, him going through the brick breaking, and the funny part is like, yo, man, we supposed to be cool. And dude was like, He was, I was like, yo,
Bruh.
was he lying
Bruh.
this whole time? But then when he breaks it down, I'm like, oh, yeah.
I
Because
have been
elves
waiting.
don't experience time like that. So to an elf,
No.
it's like, oh, yeah, we ain't seen each other for like a week or so. It's all good. He's like, bro, you missed 20 years of my life.
Yeah. I
But
got
to an elf,
married. I got kids.
20 years is like, oh, yeah, it's been like a month, but we
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And that was that. I've been waiting for somebody to break down that trope for a long time. This is one of the reasons that immortality is a curse.
Mm.
Because he even said, "Oh, has it only been 20 years? Phew, I thought I was here like Wednesday." And he's like, "If we friends, what's my wife's name? Well, if
Good
we
point.
friends, how many kids I got? Like, I was a swinging bachelor way back then, bruh." Bro, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
started a business. I got kids. I got my own place. I moved out of my dad. Like you, and where were you? You weren't at my wedding. You weren't at the birth. You weren't at the christening. You weren't at the baby shower. Like, bruh.
Now, normally I would agree. Uh, Immortality is a curse unless you ask those people like Vandal Savage. Then they say it's an opportunity. But like, but
Yeah, I
I do
promise
like
you.
seeing that relativity of time in that way, where it's like, yo, man, I'm not gonna live forever. Like, so you lost
Dwarves got
20
like
years.
400 years.
But
That's it.
I also
Oh,
did enjoy, his wife coming in and be like, look, squash all that, sit down and let's eat. And then him seeing that he planted the tree, and it was just
exactly.
he was
What I
like,
really loved was when he walked in and his wife was like, "You that Elron that he's always talking about. Man, he's always going on about you." And he's like, honey, I'm trying to be mad. I'm trying. Oh, shit. You know what? What I saw, and this is no lie. I'm not saying that just because I'm on this, but what I saw was me coming to visit you in like 20 years. It's you going up, man. We were boys when I was in California. What's up with that? What's up? And Lisa coming up to me going, Solar, hey, it's been so long. No, you staying for dinner. I can't. No, you gonna show me that cheesecake recipe too. And me going, well, I don't want to impose and all that stuff. And he a little mad at me. Forget him. This is my house. That's what it's like.
Then the kids running around. I don't know where they got those huge helmets from, but that was just funny. Like I literally busted out laughing when they ran into each other.
Parenthood.
I was like, this is hilarious. I was like, and it's not hilarious where they were trying to. I mean, of course, they expected it to be funny, but it wasn't like one of those boom. It was just like the humor of life. Yeah, it's just the humor of life happening. And I was like, yo, your kids are running wild. It's hard to be mad when it's like your kids are going crazy over here, messing with some stuff that I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to be messing with. And I'm pretty sure you've told them at least once a day not to mess with those helmets. But there they go playing in the helmets.
Exactly.
In fact, I'm almost absolutely sure you told them not to mess with the helmets. And then
this is the
wife
show.
Chill out. So that reeled me back in. That and the mystery with the elf brought me back in. Because the first episode I was just like, yeah, I don't like characters like this.
Well, my big thing was, wait, he's going to Moria? We get to see Moria with the lights on? Oh man, I've been waiting for this because Moria and Khazad-dûm, that was the business. That was seriously like in the lore, right? You got where they were and with Thorin King Under the Mountain. And in the Hobbit movies, if nothing else, you got to see, hey, this was kind of cool. But where they were was where Gandalf died in the Fellowship. And it was like, check out the halls of Dereldev. In fact, that door that he was at was the same door that said speak friend and enter, with the whole thing in the water and all that stuff. So we get to see that nice and clean. And we get to really see the biggest, most capital, most awesome city of the dwarves at its height, just like we're going to get a chance to see Numenor, the world of men at its height. And I'm like, cool, because fantasy has this real irritating trope to me, which is all the times before the times that we get to see in the book or the times that we're experiencing. Yeah, the past was better. Yeah, the swords are better. The food was cleaner.
Fantasy does like this thing where it's, even though it's supposed to be long, long ago or like this, old timey thing, they always kind of open you up in a like post-apocalyptic version of that. It's like after a period of peace, like it's always like it always opens like that. After centuries of happiness, milk and honey, and everything, now it's dirt, mud, angry. It
would be very interesting if there wasn't nothing wrong. Because it's like, and we are at the height of our power. Look at this. This is all real. It'd be like watching Star Trek based on Earth. Because it's like, this is Earth. We got all of our stuff together. There's no more hunger. There's no more poverty. Everybody gets to live the life they want to live. There's the only thing in Starfleet, or the only thing on Earth in Star Trek that is a weird resource is space travel. Like, you join Starfleet if you want to see somewhere other than Earth, but Earth is so cool.
Yeah, nobody Earth is so awesome.
Really wants to leave.
So,
so put a whole show on that.
Gareth George does bring up something. Says it's the tower project that Elrond is working on, the tower where Saruman was in Two Towers. I think it looks like it.
It is not the tower.
Oh, it's not? Because the drawing looks
like Orthanc. No.
You know what? I'm gonna do that this week because I was planning on watching all the movies to catch up with like different places and stuff, especially since this show shows a map and it's like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? You bust a left on 95 and then you go up and you connect with like 81 and then you go over to West Virginia or something like that. Or you on 405 and you connect with 5 South or something like that. Like it shows you where the map is. So I want to go back and watch the movies and be like, oh, okay, these things, because the drawing did kind of look like it, at least to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, and I get where you're coming from on that. No, that tower is the tower where um Celebrimbor actually made the Elven Rings. And that is like on the far west coast of the Middle Earth continent. And yeah, I remember his name was Celebrimbor. I told you I'm that guy. um, but yeah, where Saruman's tower, the Tower of Orthanc, is way to the southwest on the border of Rohan. Um, so I mean that's if you will, that tower, to answer your question, is to the southeast of the mountains over Khazad Dûm. So we're talking just to put it in modern West Coast geography. Saruman is in Vegas, and that tower that Celebrimbor is talking about building is up in San Francisco. Okay, so we're talking 700-800 miles away. So yeah, that's the thing on that. So
What?
and yeah, it's in the what will be the kingdom of Arnor, which is the sister city to Gondor, which was the other country that Aragorn had to be king of, because that was the condition to marry Arwen. It was, I ain't saying you can't marry my daughter. What I am saying is, if we get rid of the devil, you raise up the
Yep.
city of Gondor, you reignite the city of Arnor, and then you put them both back together. So essentially,
Oh,
get
that
rid of
was
the
the whole thing
Philistine.
with the that was her whole thing with the king that was all like dusty and dirty and like eating like black, I don't know,
Oh,
rancid
you're
meat.
talking Denethor. Yeah,
Oh,
Denethor was the steward.
oh,
And
because he was
it's
like eating
essentially,
rancid meat and stuff. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with this dude, but he ain't fit to be ruling nothing.
yeah, no, the stewards are essentially, all right, the king is gone. We need somebody to take care of this place while he's out.
What?
And after Isildur, there was 3,000 years without kings. So that family was essentially running everything, but they couldn't keep the whole thing together. Just looking at Egyptian history, it's essentially mixing um the southern delta and the northern delta together into one Egypt. And that's what Aragorn had to do in order to be qualified to marry Arwen. Because the elves don't say no, they just say you can do it if you achieve this impossible task. you know.
Shouts to Antoine Allen saying, "To the east, my brothers, to the east." I mean, so not Antoine Allen, Antoine Films. Shouts to Antoine Allen that I haven't seen in a minute. But yeah, to the east,
and
my
yeah,
brother, to the east.
and and to Antoine, they are the towers where the elven rings will be formed. But of the 20 rings, 17 of them were made in Mordor, and the other three were made at the Tower of Celebrimbor. So that's why the elves never turned bad or anything, because Sauron didn't know that Celebrimbor made any rings. And then he found out he made rings, but they weren't plugged into the Sauron network.
Oh, they weren't plugged into the network.
That's why it's one ring to rule them all, bro.
Well, yeah, true.
You know,
And
he built that network and then said, "Oh, and by the way, now you're all going through my server." And the elves were like, "Yeah, no, that's that server over there. We're over here, but don't tell him we're not on his server." It's like, "No, we ain't got no rings. You never made us any rings. We didn't trust you," type of thing.
but
So yeah.
all right, so shouts to Sauron, all right, because I vaguely, because it's been maybe 10 years since I've watched
Mhm.
those movies. It might be 10 years since so, but I remember, I remember, your boy Sauron, he won't play it. It's funny hearing his Sauron. Like Sauron. I'm like, man, you ain't gotta say it like that. I know your brother dead, but dang, you ain't gotta say, I mean, come on. All right, like calm down.
Yeah.
Now, I wanna throw in a little love to my snow trolls for a second. All right.
Okay.
Now you
Yeah.
chilling. All right, let's think. All these little, I don't know, orcs and evil little minions and stuff, they left, right? Sauron gone, right? So ain't nobody there. So this is now your house. You've taken domain or whatever. You get your mail there. This your house. Essentially, some elves come into your house and you're like, yo, man, why you breaking in my house? And they kill you.
Yeah.
It's like the Dave Chappelle skit where like the cops come in and like shoot him and sprinkle some crack on him. It's like, yo.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
hung up pictures of himself all over the place. Like, cause I'm like, yo, hold up. Ain't this technically the Snow Troll's house though? Like,
well,
like he was chilling, like y'all came there, like he was minding his business.
See, this is where we get into the problematic parts of the Lord of the Rings. Because in Lord of the Rings, your species determines whether or not you're good. So trolls are evil, period. So those snow trolls went and they took the house, and it's like, no, well, they bad anyway. We let them get strong, they gonna start killing people. And it's very
but he won't killing nobody. He was just kicking it in the house by himself. Just chilling.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I assume there's not too many people up there with all that snow.
Well, see, and that is you're bringing up Sauron. I want to get back to Sauron.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Sauron is the second big bad. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that in a second too.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to ask me about Melkor or Morgoth.
Yeah, because I'm like, in the movies, at least from, of course, because I haven't read any books. From the movies, it seemed like, yo, he was the final boss. All right.
He was the final boss for that age, is the thing.
It seemed like he was the final boss. But then when you get that, now we open up this, it's like, no, it's not Bison, it's Akuma that's the real.
Kind of.
To put it in Street Fighter terms. It's not Bison. And he's not the final boss. It's really Akuma. It's like, oh, snap, who's Akuma?
Pretty much. See, let me give you just a quick thing of a quick rundown of the cosmology of Tolkien. All right.
All right.
First, turn your mind to the Catholic Church. All right. So we have Inu Iluvatar. Okay. Anu Iluvatar is God. He is God upon God. That he is number one. He is the creator, the Alpha, the Omega. Okay. Cool. He is God, big G. Under him are the Valar. Think about them as the archangels. All right. Okay. We got like Manwë, Olmo, all of those guys, and each one has their own little department. Okay, we got the Archangel of the Rocks, we got the Archangels of the Ocean, the Archangels of the Wind, and each of those archangels made their own little sub things. They had their assistants to go help with them. Sure. All right. So, Morgoth, Melkor was in that first load. Okay. Melkor is, for all intents and purposes, Lucifer. See, music and songs play a really big thing in this whole thing. And Iluvatar made the universe by singing and conducted and composed an orchestra. And the Valar are the heads of each section. You got your strings, you got your horns, you got all this stuff. Melkor didn't have one particular department. He wasn't the archangel of the water or the archangel of left or right or the archangel of biscuits. He was
the archangel of biscuits though.
Yeah,
I mean, get that fresh biscuit Sunday morning. Come on now.
He was the most powerful of all of them because he had a little bit in everybody's territory. So like you got the archangel of plants, who was on a scale of 1 to 5, a 5 in plants and a 1 in everything else. All right. Melkor was a 3 in everything. And he was like, well, I know a lot about you. I know a lot about their thing. I'm going to write my own song. So he ended up trying to make his own sub-universe within the universe. And the other ones were like, man, he keeps messing up the song. And Iluvatar is like, oh, no, don't worry about it. I'll just write this next section around what he wrote and it'll all be good. Or he tried to write something and it turns out, hey, you stumbled upon that thing I had to write for you in the first place. And Melkor is like, man, I'm just trying to make my own thing. And it's like, you can't make your own thing because it's all me. See, that's the whole thing. And that was the first age. But in that age, when Melkor tried to make his own stuff, that's where we got dragons, giant spiders, the Balrogs. All right. And on that level, so we got Iluvatar, the Valar, and then the Maiar. Okay. And that's where Sauron comes in. Sauron is on that next level down.
Okay.
With the dragons, the evil. Thank you, George. Or yeah, thank you, Jerence George. Yeah, but on that next level, we got the dragons, of which Smaug is the smallest. The eagles, who were their own thing, the tree ants, Tom Bombadil, the wizards, and Sauron.
Okay.
So that's where we're at, because Melkor, essentially left heaven, took a third of everybody, and Sauron was his number one. So Sauron is pretty much the Antichrist.
All right, cool.
All
because
right.
at least I was about to ask you. I was like, so because the way at least he's positioned in the first three movies is like he's basically the devil. I mean, he's basically like.
Well, and that's the thing. He is as far beyond humans, or he is as far beyond mutants as mutants are beyond humans.
Okay.
So again, the thing about the Lord of the Rings, it deals with deep time and hard power levels. So yeah, Sauron and the wizards and the Balrog, all the same league. They are all the same league. However, that's just the college league when it comes to the Tolkien universe. The NFL and the NBA are the Valar.
All right.
And there's only
Okay. So that's because when they brought in, was it Melkor or whatever? I can't remember the guy's name. But when Melkor.
Or
so
Morgoth.
when they brought in Melkor, I was like, hold on, what? Hold on, say who? Because
that was Sauron's
I thought
boss.
your boy Sauron was the man. So he ain't the man no more. And this show is like, nah, he ain't the man no more.
No,
like,
essentially,
you thought he was the man, but he ain't. Nah, that was a week ago.
Yeah. Oh no, it's more like he'll be what's left of the man. That whole thing of the past was bigger and more fantastic than the present. So when we're watching the movies that come at the end of the Third Age, again, 6,000 years after this show, we got that dude. So it's essentially, how can I put this? How can I really put this? I don't know that much about sports. So this is like, at this point, Sauron is the top college pick, where Melkor / Morgoth is Jordan.
All
right. So yeah. And
so he's got promise, but he ain't there yet.
He ain't there yet. Yeah, he ain't there yet.
Promise.
But again, top college pick. All right, where you got Aragorn and the Fellowship, specifically Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas. They varsity. They just got their scholarship. Okay,
they're all-American high school players, but they're
exactly. And then
so it's like they got skills, but you know.
Exactly. And then you got that next level being Sauron, the Balrogs, the Eagles, and the Wizards. And those dudes are essentially the top draft of the NBA in their first 2 years. But then you got the Valar, which are the ones people argue about. The Valar are Jordan, Magic, LeBron. That's where those dudes are. And then, well, actually, you got your Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah, you got your Wilt Chamberlain, your Kareem, and then of course you've got Iluvatar as essentially your Jordan. That's the whole thing. Like, that's the GOAT. That's the whole thing. Yeah, I know. Shots fired. I don't care. But yeah, and so yeah, I mean that's real. Or actually, you got Iluvatar as the owner of the team. That's he would.
It seems like it seems like he would essentially be like the league owner. He would like own the league or like the commissioner.
He is the number one stockholder in the NBA.
Yeah, he's David Stern. Oh, I forgot. It's not even Stern no more. That I'm showing my age. It's not
Yeah,
Stern
exactly.
no more. It's Silver. Silver is
Yeah.
the guy.
Exactly.
Silver is the guy over the NBA now. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Stern.
So,
How long has it been? No.
yeah, and that's the whole thing. Iluvatar, Stern, the Valar are your NBA Hall of Famers that everybody argues about because they'll never play each other ever.
Yeah, they'll never play each other. So
You know, because I mean, we can watch footage of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain, and we can question what they would be like against Magic Johnson and Worthy. But we already know that Jordan took down Johnson, and then we can ask the question like, who's better, LeBron or Johnson? So it's that kind of.
Then you can even ask the question about, well, Jordan took down Johnson, but Johnson's age when Jordan came in. Then you could all those arguments could go on forever and ever.
And those are the ones that happen in the Lord of the Rings community. It's like, well, Olmo got all this, yeah, but Manwë created the elves, yeah, but Manwë also created the Eagles and what the Eagles are out and all that same barbershop stuff. All right, just different skin. All right, so yeah, so what Sauron is essentially a fallen angel who worked for the fallen archangel. All right, so he's the Antichrist. Melkor / Morgoth is the devil.
So Morgoth basically left and said, "Who's coming with me?"
Yeah.
And Sauron was like, "I'm coming with you."
Mm-hmm. Well, no, Sauron is like, that is the wrong question for you to ask me. The question to ask me is, where we going? And that's what Sauron does in the Second Age, because after the War of Wrath, Morgoth was cast into darkness. So Sauron is like, you're worshiping these Valar and Iluvatar, but can you see them? Can you do all this stuff? Now, let me tell you about who really show up for you. And that's what caused the fall of man and the fall of Numenor, which was like Atlantis and all that stuff.
All right. So another thing I like about this show, even though I'm on the fence about stuff like this because, your show isn't guaranteed, even though this is Lord of the Rings, it's kind of guaranteed. But when the king is like, so Elrond, since the ship is gone, she's probably right. There's something going on. Hold up. You knew there was something going on. I guess because also as a king, you got to play politics. You can't have people going crazy and panicking. You know what I'm saying? I guess. But then at the same time, you don't want people to just be kicking it like it's all good, and then all of a sudden be like, "Oh, the sky's falling. The king ain't saying nothing to me." So I mean, and then even on is it Durand? What is it? I can't remember his name.
Durin's father. Yeah,
Durin's father. When he was like, "Do they know?" It's like, "Oh, here we go. Y'all always lying to folks." Oh, well, no. Let me take that back. Technically, they didn't lie because nobody asked them. Nobody came to the mountain asking people nothing. So technically, there was no lie to be told because there was never a question asked. So y'all just being secretive. So, I mean, I guess it's okay to be secretive. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in the Tolkien universe, diplomacy means a lot. So it's really one of those, you really have to nurture friendship. It's like The Godfather. It's like, you never called me over for a cup of coffee. And now you're coming to me asking this, which is what he looked at Elrond and said.
Yeah,
it's like,
true.
Where have the elves been? They only come around when they want to take stuff. Or, like somebody coming into the hood or onto the regs.
It's like, oh, you want to come in here and build something for us? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or you're going to come and redevelop? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that's really what
we're redeveloping. There's going to be affordable housing here. For who?
Yeah. So who's affording it? That's funny. So you're going to be making houses that come with jobs? Like who's going to be affording these houses?
Yeah,
because according to this index here, there's a whole lot of houses over there that people can afford. Look at all the houses that are filled up in Beverly Hills and Bel Air. So yeah.
So that is another thing that I'm intrigued about. The first episode, like I said, was kind of shaky for me. I was starting to not care because I was like, these are the type of characters, the type of stories I don't really care a lot about. Unless maybe we had a 3-episode premiere where we got a little more time with her brother and then also her brother and her to be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
man, this guy's kind of cool. It's important that he died. You know what I'm saying? And instead of like, all right, her brother died. Okay,
Yeah,
we
we
get it.
need
She's
it.
gonna be
The
mean to
writers
everybody. She's not
definitely
gonna
need it.
listen. She's not even gonna get a scrape, and then she's gonna put everybody else's life in danger. And then when we
Yeah.
go back, there's not gonna be no cuffs, no demotion, no nothing. It's gonna be like,
Oh,
hey,
well,
go
see-
on to Valhalla.
Well, see, that was the other thing, though. Hey, going to Valhalla, that kind of was the punishment.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
like it was more like reassign her, get her out of here. Like get her out.
Promote her out of the field. All right.
But to her credit, the king is like, King turns to Elrond is like, so check it. Yeah. Sounds like there's some validity.
Yeah. And see, that's Gilgalad
like,
is my
Elrond,
is
if I was Elrond, I'd be like,
yeah.
but dog,
Gilgalad is my
like,
second favorite of the elves because he does have that kind of mind. It's very much the no, no. What do you mean? I promoted her out of the field. I couldn't make her stay on the boat.
like
I did my part, you know. So
because it's now you have a situation where technically you had I wouldn't call that's not a battalion, a small party. You had a small party that has already been on the case, knows the case. You know, they got the case files and everything, and then you just ship them off. Who? The brand new people that don't know nothing, supposed to. You screwed yourself, man. You screwed yourself. Now you're gonna be like, hey man, go out there and find Sauron because it's like some darkness and stuff happening. They're gonna be like, who he? And they'll be like, oh man, we gotta start from the beginning. So it's like, I mean, they'll know who he is, but I mean still.
yeah.
But so let's talk about Meteors, man, or the Meteor Man.
Oh yeah, the Meteor Man.
Shouts out
Hang
to a
on.
classic movie. Shouts out to Robert Townsend.
Hang on, I got to learn the information. All right, now I'm ready. I'm ready.
But yeah, dude falls from the sky, and I'm like, oh snap! At first, I thought it was just a meteor. It was going, it was going like, I don't know, bust a hole in the ground. It was gonna be like orcs running around, like we hungry or something. But it was just one dude chilling. I was like, oh, so this is like Superman or something? I was like, because I don't know nothing about Lord of the Rings. All I know is he got angry, he started shouting, and the tree started leaning over. All right? That's all I know.
Honestly, I haven't seen any spoilers, but it can be one of two characters. The wizard that was made up for the show that there have been rumors about, or Sauron. It's one of them too. Because all of the markings and all that stuff that, like, they're following that sigil. That is the sigil of Morgoth. That's the sigil of Sauron's boss. And
see, I always thought that was his own sign. So he using his boss's sign.
Well, yeah, that was the War of Wrath was the last big war. That was the last time the Dark One came. And Sauron becomes the new Dark Lord after the sinking of Numenor. At this point, he's like, look, I'm a celestial being. You can trust me. Let me show you how to make stuff. Let me show you how to do that. They're like, if you just go to the Valinor and throw yourself on their mercy saying that you want to get better, they'll probably let you do that. He's like, you know what? I'll do that. But first, I'm going to stop over here. I'm going to stop.
But first.
Here. And so, yeah. And since this is the second age where Sauron is doing all of his machinations, and it's called the Rings of Power, it makes sense that this dude who starts off, see, I want to make Game of Thrones references, but you haven't watched the show. So this dude is, but using Lord of the Rings references, Grima Wormtongue from the Two Towers is very much a Sauron type character. That's what he does. He gets in close. Okay. Oh no, my lord, let me give you like Jafar. He runs around the elves and the humans like Jafar. The thing is, Gilgalad, Galadriel, Elrond, and Celebrimbor are like, all right, I'll take that under advisement.
I'll take that under advisement.
Yeah. So like that's a big thing.
I did if that's because what was it? Geeky Andre just put in. I hope the black elf investigating the orcs doesn't die this season. Let him make it back to his woman. Well,
he's not gonna die.
I don't think he'll die, because I would, the way what Hollywood is set up, at least now, I don't think they kill him. They probably just marginalize him, where it's like, oh, he's real dope, and we see him like once every 3 episodes or something like that. But
I wouldn't quite say marginalized. He fills the slot of Legolas in this show.
We hope.
No,
It's been 2 episodes.
He's on the ground. You know, he's got the love interest arc. But he's on the ground actually doing the work. He's the one we spend more time with. So yeah, they're not going to marginalize, because TV has been working a lot differently than motion pictures. You know, TV has been working a lot different. So, yeah, I think he's going to play a really big, important part in the show. Not the star, okay, because unfortunately,
that just ain't gonna happen.
yeah, no, pretty blonde girls get more subscriptions than competent black men. Sorry, that's the country that we live in. All right.
Even though I have the same argument with that as the vague argument of like, well, you know, Middle America doesn't really like this. Well, what is Middle America? What are the boundaries of Middle America? Where's the study for Middle America? You did a study just last week, right? How many people were in the study? What were the ages of the people? They just say it, and we just agree with it. We're just like, oh, well, I mean, that's Middle America. Well, where is Middle America? Does it start at, say, Ohio and end at Colorado, or does it start at Missouri and ends at, you know, the tip of Oregon? No one knows. We just say it.
No, they're the flyover states. Essentially, they're talking about the places that still have sundown towns, because those spots, they get loud. Sometimes they get violent. They start crusades. All right. It's only in the past 10 years where we on these precious coasts and in the big cities are like, shut up. We gonna watch it anyway. In fact, we gonna watch it despite you. I wasn't interested until you started mouthing off. Now I'm gonna watch it just to get on your nerves. That's only been in the past 10 years.
Vera brings up a very good point that I think actually will happen, especially because the little dumb boy. We gonna talk about him because he dumb. But Vera says, I think the mother would die and the son would have more hate for Els because of him. And of course, with the little sword thing, the little spear thing that his boy done already cut his finger on, he done already put his blood into it and stuff. So y'all always mixing blood. First thing, that wasn't yours. Why are you messing with it? Why are you messing with it? It's not yours.
He's a kid. That's what kids do. You know, him playing with the sword is just like the other kids playing with the giant heads. Kids go, cool. What's this? I don't know. I'm gonna play with it. Now I'm gonna hide.
The giant heads are way different. Way different than this. Like, so, but you know, I guess I could give it to him. You know.
Oh, and not to mention, magical artifacts come with their own influence.
I think I would say even I could mess with that, but now, of course, it's black people, so black people is different. Once my blood got sucked into it, I'd be like, hey, mom, look, I need to talk to you real quick. Or, hey, dad, guess what? Something crazy happened. Or like even one of my friends, when your blood gets sucked into an item and it starts glowing or a little fire starts, that's when it's time to escalate the call. Escalate the issue to IT.
So as escalate a dude that deals with fantasy tropes and practices magic in the real world, what you're talking about makes sense if you were dealing with a regular thing. All right.
Okay.
But this is a big, dark, evil thing. Step 1 with big, dark, evil thing. All right. Put a spell on it that compels people to do it, compels people to mess with it. Your brain might be like, put this down. And your brain might even be going, no, seriously, why are you picking this up? It's like that old skit from a comedian that we don't talk about very much saying, you know, there's some like your body knows what's going on, but your head is always kind of stupid. Like you're walking down the street and you hear a noise come from an alley and you just start running, but your head is like, no, wait, what is that? So you're running forward, but you're kind of looking behind you to see what it was. It's that kind of thing, you know, subtle influence, you know. So it's like, you know, he picked up the sword and it's like, oh, look, it's a rusty old thing. Yeah, what's the symbol? I don't know. But if you watch it again, when it's sucking in the blood and reforming its blade, the black speech of Mordor is out there too. So it's
Okay.
like, so that's like a little bit of mind control happening. Like, oh, good. Now feed me more, Seymour. Feed me
That
all night
next
long.
next thing you know,
You
this
know,
little boy gonna be eating raw fish from the stream.
pretty
Just letting y'all
much. I
know.
mean, look at the way the ring kept compelling Frodo and Bilbo and Gollum. It's in our parlances,
Then he had to
dark
smack.
magic.
Then he had to smack Samwise one time. Then he was
Yeah.
like, "Snap out of it, boy."
No, actually, Samwise is the only person who was tempted by the ring itself and just shook it off. Because
Oh yeah.
hobbits were good ring bearers because they were already content. The ring is like, I give you power, I can give you empire. And especially in the book, he was like, I could be Samwise the Strong. I could raise army. What am I thinking? I'm a gardener. I just want that chick at the bar. Anyway, moving on.
He's
I
like,
mean,
"Yeah, well,
yeah. So like that whole black speech and the compulsion, that's
okay,
how magic tends to work, especially with
okay.
kids that are easily influenced.
All right. So you know what? I'll reel it in. The boy, he's on levels of dumbness. He's not as bad as Jetty in Sandman. All right, because Jed and Sandman, he is true stupid. All right. So that's full dumb. All right. This kid is like just like curious dumb. But
Yeah.
there's also a spell, so I'll you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'll allow
Don't
it. There's a
overlook the
spell,
magic just
and the
because it doesn't
dude
come with lighting effects.
Saruman or whatever. I'll allow it. You know what I'm saying? Mordor and stuff, and black mountains and
Yeah.
lava and things.
I'm-
I'll allow it. I'll allow it
yeah.
this time.
So now I only half agree with Miss Morris. And by the way, you are seriously shout outs to you. I don't think she's gonna die and the kid's gonna hate elves because of it, because I think he already hates elves.
Mm.
It's like that one person that already hates Mexicans and then they get into a car accident with where a Mexican was driving and that just seals it. So now all
It
Mexicans
just
back.
seals it.
Yeah,
Like, well, that's it.
Yeah,
I had an
Like,
opportunity for it to come back.
yeah, that's really what I see, because elves are not well liked in the East and the South. And I can kind of see that because
And
elves are jerks.
they never really explain outside of them just being like sort of like pretentious elitists. Like they never
Yeah.
at least they never really explain like, oh, like the elves did this last
Doesn't
week
matter.
and that's why we hate them. It's just
Well,
like
and the
y'all
elves are like, well, y'all sided with Morgoth, so we don't know about y'all. And I'll tell you,
yeah.
I'm born and raised in LA, cut my teeth in Hollywood. All right. Elitists are enough to make you hate people.
True.
That whole,
Yeah.
well, you're not nearly as good as I am, and you don't know nearly as much as I do. Well, teach me. And I'm doing my absolute best not to use profanity here, but I'm like, yeah, well, if I'm not, if I ain't like that, if I don't measure up on your level, then teach me or show me where I can learn.
And
Well,
they-
if you
they
don't
do-
know,
It's like they have all the dope stuff, and it's not like they act as if they don't know that they have a whole extra 200 years of knowledge on humans. It's like, hey
Yeah.
man, I'm 30. You're so stupid. Yeah, because you're 330. I mean, of course, yeah.
you've been here a
makes it-
while.
Yeah, like
Excuse
you
me
know,
for
you
not
have-
practicing sword play for the past 800 years. I've only been here 30.
Yeah, it's like
But the thing is, and that's what they showed subtly with Elrond, they don't get it. They really don't. They don't get, what? I ain't got time for that. I'm only here for 80 years. I ain't got time for that.
yeah.
And yeah, they really don't. Like, they don't get that a lifetime can pass while they're writing a book. Because for all we know, Elrond in the beginning of the first episode was working on that speech for like 15 years.
True.
The only time we really, really get to see that is when we're dealing with the Ents.
Because we don't really know how long she had been on that quest or whatever with the party that was like, yo man, look, because dude was like, I look, they tired, we done went everywhere, we ain't seen an orc in like, I can't remember how long he had said, but a long time. It had been a long time. We ain't seen an orc in X amount of years. Like,
And she's like, they're just getting better at hiding.
and
We keep looking.
Technically, she's right. They all underground, which
Uh-huh.
is weird because it makes me wonder, like, y'all never thought to look underground? But I
No.
guess, like, they were
This
like,
is-
hey, they
this
don't
is
live
when the
underground. They
orcs-
live in castles or whatever.
Yeah, they live in castles, they live in trees, they live on a country that, all right, so real talk. Think back to the Fellowship of the Ring, all right? That little crystal ball that Sauron was using, okay, that crystal ball, the Palantir, that is the dwarven cell phone or the elven cell phone network. Like, they had the internet. Okay, they used the magic to create the internet. So living underground, who would do that?
Yeah,
That's like
and see, well, at least we're not at the point where he has the eyeball yet. Well, I guess Sauron, he's around somewhere, possibly, but we don't know. All we know is at this point he doesn't have the eyeball yet, so that's good. But I mean, I guess we can't stop him from getting the eyeball.
Form.
Oh well,
Yeah,
we can't stop him from becoming the eyeball because we already know the future happened. So, he's just.
Oh no, become the eyeball is good because Sauron was beat 3 times. First, as a Maiar during the War of Wrath, then he fell to Middle Earth. That's where he got flesh, and then he became a shapeshifter, and he was known as something, the Lord of Gifts. And he was like this cool, good-looking dude that was like, I'm smart, I'm from the gods, I'm all this stuff. And then he was defeated and came back in the armor form. Okay, the armor form that you saw at the last Alliance of Elves and Men. And then when he got beat, then all he could muster up for a physical form was the eye. So that was cool. That was literally like, all right, I can't do this.
Now, since we've been chilling, I wanna give the last shout out to Geeky. Andre said the orc that was in the barn was giving me Evil Dead and the Hills Have Eyes vibes. I agree. I agree. And the fact that, those things don't feel pain, or at least seem to feel pain, doesn't help either. But, hey, I do like the fact that they were able to pull it out. I knew they weren't in danger, but, well, no, I thought that the kid might have to end up using that little half sword thing on it. But, besides that, I was like, they're not dead in this scene.
Now, I want to give a shout out to the actress that's playing the role of that lady who's in love with the elf, because she's real young looking. So I'm like, oh, great, another good looking woman, blah, blah, blah. It's TV, of course. What do I expect? I didn't realize that she was a mom. And the end of that fight where she's like, look, we got bad stuff happening. Things are underground. They're like, yeah, whatever, woman, blah, 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 blah. As soon as she killed that orc and cut off its head and walked back in, like, boom, is that the proof you need? I'll be packing. I'm like, yeah, all right, she is a mom.
Look, she was like, look, this was in my house. Goodbye. So with that said, we've been chilling with y'all for a long time. We know y'all got things to do. We've been kicking it, enjoying the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, all that jazz. I think I'll stick around for the show. I'm gonna throw it to Solar. Final thoughts. Where can they find you?
All right, so my final thoughts are, if you're expecting the Pete Jackson movies, don't. He couldn't even do it a second time. All right, the first time he did it, and it was like, wow, he set the standards, but when he went back to do The Hobbit, he couldn't do it again. So
wasn't Guillermo del Toro supposed to do The Hobbit?
Originally, yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That would have been too much of a tonal shift.
But maybe that's what it needed.
No.
Maybe that's why they didn't.
A duology. It needed to be a duology, number one. And second, had it been a duology, you wouldn't have had all the padding like Legolas running up rocks, or 10 minutes of them in the barrel in the river. We didn't need all that. 3 minutes would have been fine. But they had to stretch it out over the course of 3 movies. But it really just needed to. I forgot,
because you're right, because Guillermo del Toro was just going to do 2 movies. Because I think that there was even an interview where he said something like 2 books, 2 movies. So he was just like really simple. He was like 2 books, 2 movies. Like,
well, no, Hobbit was 1 book. And that was, one book. Yeah.
I thought it was 2 books.
Most of the stuff that happened to Bilbo was like, we're following Bilbo, and then he comes back and the dwarves have gotten into something else. So, and so if you're going to make movies, yeah, you got to show what the dwarves are up to. You got to show where Gandalf leaves for. So, like, 2 movies, we're good. We're just plain good with 2 movies. That would have been fine. But stretching it out to 3 movies at 3 hours apiece,
Whew,
that movie failed because it had so much filler. It
man.
had way too much filler. So,
Whew.
but yeah, so if you were going into this expecting the Fellowship of the Ring, don't. Because again, Pete Jackson couldn't do it a second time with property from the same author in the same universe. He couldn't. He couldn't do it a second time. Now, if you're looking for a decent fantasy show along the lines of, say, Wheel of Time, Game of Thrones, um, what was that other one? Like Witches or something like that. Um, then this is right up there. I mean, it's good. I
And
mean,
I still need to peep
it's a
Wheel of
solid
Time. I
three of a
still need to
kind.
peep that.
Yeah. So it's a solid three of a kind. If you're playing poker, it's a three of a kind. And given that I grew up in the time of Hercules and Xena and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and the Mystic Riders of Tir na Nog, so worse is out there.
Yeah.
Worse is out there. Is better out there? Yes, better is out there, but not much. Not much better. So
Mm.
if you're going in with the expectations of this sweeping epic and all that other stuff, and no, don't. Then you're just skip it. If you're in there to see another story of Middle Earth done in TV format and you're willing to take what you get, then yeah, I mean it's good. I can liken it to my love of supernatural movies, like my love of movies involving the supernatural and the Catholic mythology, like End of Days and
Okay,
anything
okay.
involving angels and demons, and then watching Supernatural, the TV show. Supernatural wasn't all that. It didn't
Super
have great production value, but
Supernatural
it
had
was
its
all right.
bright spots.
Yeah,
It's
but it
Supernatural
wasn't.
is it's such a mixed bag, especially yeah. That's you know what that might be another show because
Yeah,
I did the after show for AfterBuzz or whatever. I've covered it myself.
yeah.
I've covered the finale and stuff. In general, I dig Supernatural, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's like or if your introduction, like if you're going to looking at this show expecting what we got in the early 2000s with the Lord of the Rings movies, it's like watching The Sopranos when you're expecting The Godfather. Just it's
Mm.
different. It's smaller scale, it's more character driven. So, but if you into that, this show's fine. It's like I said, Evil's done, and I'm like, man, I don't got nothing to watch. Oh, yeah, the new Lord of the Rings show is up. All right, I'll check it out. Like, I literally watched it before Mike over here said, hey, you up for covering Lord of the Rings? It's like, you know what? I'm watching it anyway. Fine. And that's the whole thing. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
It's not gonna blow you away. It's not
at least
gonna
not yet.
yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to make you run out and read the books. And I will say this, read the books and do the lore if you want to, but know that it reads like the book of Numbers from the Bible. Okay, especially the Silmarillion.
Boring.
Yeah. I'm not there literally is a whole like 4 pages of who begat who and then who begat what, you know.
Numbers is
And
not.
yeah, exactly. I don't lie. I've been saying the Silmarillion reads like the Book of Numbers, um, and Lost Tales reads a lot like the Book of Acts. All right, so it's very much like that, and it's like okay, if that's what you're into, you're gonna like it. But this isn't gonna make you want to rush out and read the stuff. It will make you want to pull up YouTube videos of people talking about what they mean because they've read the stuff. Like and subscribe, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yes.
You know, but yeah, so I mean, that's it. It's good enough. I mean, the show is good enough.
Yeah, because I don't think if we were at a different part of this year when other shows were on, I don't know if I'd really check for this. But now that we got a couple things in motion with the second episode, um, um, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested
Yeah,
to see where this
exactly.
goes because this could end up being one of those shows where by the end of the season, I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Because if these first two episodes, like I was kind of fence-like, but sort of off the fence with the first episode. But with the second one, they reject, especially with the whole thing with Disa and the kids and stuff. That brought me in. I'm very
Yeah.
interested. Like I
Yeah,
want to see where they go.
like this show is very much like the Blacklist, you know? Like it's
Yeah,
a
but
good enough show.
Blacklist was kind of hot for a minute.
Well,
They
Blacklist was
ended.
kind
They
of hot.
ended. You know. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of hot if you stuck it out and watching it. But like Blacklist, Person of Interest, and all that stuff, they were good. They don't have these great big followings, and they're not like the talk of the week, and they're not, and
I
you're not
might.
going to be like around the water cooler at work going,
Nah.
yo, man, did you check out what happened last night on Blacklist? Nah, it ain't like that. But you know
Even
what?
though
It was good.
outside of like the very final episode when just because COVID got him, Blacklist on the low was one of the hottest kind of procedural because your boy would come see you. There were consequences. People got shot. They were gone. Like they ended up. They was buried. He ended threats. All right.
Yeah. And it
Now,
had
at the
that
same
little, okay,
time-
I'm watching to find out what a little bit more. You know, again, it's up there. It ain't like
And,
Breaking Bad. It ain't like, it's not going to be Breaking Bad. It ain't going to be
Nah.
Game of Thrones. But it's
I'd
good enough.
also say that I think it's hard to distinguish those because those shows are so different. Like, because I'd say Person of Interest, which I think is leagues beyond a lot of shows, especially that are like sort of procedural. Like nobody's
okay.
really handling police interaction the way they handled whatchamacallit's character, Regina.
Okay, yeah.
The whole police corruption like storyline, no one's handling it like even now, no one's handling it like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
so yeah, I mean that's just what it was though. Like
they got the pluses, and for the technology stuff,
and
they
again,
got their pluses.
Like I said, it wasn't a bad show. It was a decent show, but Person of Interest was not The Wire, and that's what I'm saying. The Rings of Power is not the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Okay, it's not Game of Thrones seasons 1 through 4. Okay, it's Person of Interest. It's Sons of Anarchy. It's it ain't Breaking Bad, but it's on that level. So it's like, okay, cool. You're watching it.
Words comes in. Geeky Andre said the first 3 seasons of Blacklist were good. Yeah, definitely. And Words 789, yo, I got a question for y'all. Just ask it.
Yeah, type it quick, man.
Now, is the old meteor stranger meant to be Gandalf or what?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
But
Nope. Not Gandalf. Definitely not Gandalf. He shows up to Middle Earth. All 5 of the wizards show up at the same time, specifically to take down Sauron after the fall of Numenor. That's one of those pieces of canon. Like, is that meteor coming down Teenage Superman? No, it's not. Like his canon is actually established. It's right there. Yeah, that's not Gandalf. It may be a wizard. It may be Sauron. It may be somebody on that level, but it will not be Gandalf. Again, yeah, Gandalf got to Middle Earth when the Valar sent the ships to Middle Earth saying, all right, so now that the last threat of Sauron is done, after the War of the Ring, this is important. This was after Isildur cut the ring off of Sauron's finger. That was when the wizards got there. They got there after that. Like, okay, now that the big bad is gone, the world needs to be reshaped, and this is your job. So Saruman was made to counsel men. Radagast was there to look over the animals. Gandalf was there to look over everything that wasn't man or animal. So elves, hobbits, dwarves, eagles, stuff like that. Alatar and Palando actually went east to this area. So if they're gonna make it a wizard, it would be Alatar or Palando, because those are the 2 wizards that are not ever seen in any of the source material. Okay, those were the blue wizards that went east. That's all that's ever said of them. So yeah. Yeah. And again, I warned you guys, the audience. Yeah, I am that guy.
So
This is why you can find me on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/BID_P, talking about games. You can also find me because I dual stream at my Twitch channel and here on YouTube. Just look for the Solar Grey or Back in the Deck Productions YouTube channel. And because I live stream on both at the same time, and Twitch is mad at me for that, and they're not paying me. So like and subscribe, share, join the Patreon, all that jazz. And now that I got you in a public forum, I want to seriously thank you for showing up for Decker Day, man. That was, last week was
I had
popping.
fun.
Yeah, last week was popping. I was really, really happy. That was some good stuff. So you kind of got to see what the gaming community is really all about, the tabletop gaming community and the stuff that we do and all that stuff, and how we're still keeping that last candle lit. That last candle lit.
And shouts to what is it, Guild House Gaming? I got
Guild House.
I got some dice from all three of us got some dice. The little guy got some dice, the wife got some dice, I got some dice. So shouts to them. Yeah. So
and they're good people.
Some very cool dice that I'm not letting anybody just like be playing with willy-nilly.
No, that's when I get back in a position where I can start running Espergenesis again. Now you got dice. Now you can be like, all right, wait, am I supposed to roll the 20 right now? Yes, roll the D20.
Oh, well, no, I got regular. I'll have to get those type of dice too.
I
just got the regular squares. That's it.
But yeah, so, but seriously, thank you for showing up. It was a great day. If I do it again, I might do it after Halloween, but before Thanksgiving. At the same location, because that food was lit. And
food was great.
The food was the real reason that I was charging $50 a ticket. But I'm pretty sure everybody got their value. I'm pretty sure everybody got $50 value out of the day. So I was really happy. I was glad to see the whole family there. Your little guy came up to me having broken one of the miniatures on the thing, and I'm like, no, look, don't worry about it. They're toys. It's just stuff. It's meant to be played with. And I took the little figure that he broke, and I'm like, look, I held it up to him, and then I dropped it on purpose. I'm like, see, I'm not concerned about it, kid. And ironically, I just glued it back together yesterday. So, it's all good. It's
I got an Iron Man that got to glue back together in a second anyway. There's a little Iron Man over there with his arm hanging on the ground. So,
Yeah. So,
it's tough out there. It's tough out there.
It was really hero,
good.
Yeah. And it was, we had a good amount of kids turn out. Shout outs to like the next generation of gamers learning the social contract and how to behave around people. And I really got to give shout outs to you and Lady Lisa on your parenting. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Because that boy, if more children behave like NERDSoul Light, I would have no fear for the future. Like seriously.
We do what we can. It's not easy, but
and suck it up now
with love.
Yeah, and suck it up now because by the time he's a teenager, that's all gonna go away.
Yeah, he's gonna know everything, and then he'll turn like 30 and be like, "Oh man, you know what? I didn't know everything."
Like I get what you were saying back when I was 11, pops. Oh, you get it now.
You get it now.
How much
money
you need? Yeah. So how much money you need?
He's like, you get it now. Thanks.
Yeah.
But I guess final thoughts for me. First, thank everybody in the chat coming through. Antoine Films, Geeky Andre, Vera Morris, Words, who think Geeky Andre, unless I already said it. Who else?
And Gaming Fix.
Shanita Summers. I hope I did not screw up your name. So what up to you? Final thoughts. I'll stick around. I'm interested to see where this goes. It's a world that I don't know a lot of, so I'm interested in seeing. Outside of the movies, I know nothing but just what's on the show. So I'm like, cool, let's see where this goes. It's not the best, but it does have promise. I will say it does have promise.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's got promise. So you ready to go? You You ready to go?
Hey, what's up, man?
I guess you are ready to go already, right?
Yes, yes.
Say, Say, I love all y'all.
Love all y'all.
Say, peace.
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 Right.
Oh. No, not yet. Not yet. Hey, where'd I go?
We out.
All right.
Not yet.
Not yet. You gotta say, you gotta be nice to the people when you go. I say, you gotta give them a little bit. Say.
Nope. No.
Yeah. All right, now this time you can go. Anyway, we out.
You will remain in the past. Can I get a fucking yeah?
Good day, gentlemen. This is a pre-recorded briefing made prior to your departure, in which, for security reasons of the highest importance, has been known on board during the mission. Now that you are in Jupiter's space, and the entire crew is revived, it can be told. 18 months ago, first evidence of intelligent life off the Earth was discovered. It was buried 40 feet below the lunar surface, near the crater Patron. Except for a single, very powerful radio emission aimed at Jupiter, the 4-million-year-old black monolith has remained completely inert. Its origin and purpose, still a total mystery.
listening to my daddy, all Gorilla MC.
I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dollars rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding cause we all came from hunger pain.